Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the new episode of SWV and Xscape, The Queens of R&B, episode 5. So the episode opens up with Tamika calling LaTocha over the phone to finally meet up and talk. Y'all remember she didn't go to the rehearsal last week? Well, she did actually end up showing up to the sound check. So then we see LaTocha in the studio. She's very happy that the deal is signed, it's official, and then Tamika walks in. Rocky says hey to Tamika and she totally ignores him, and then he leaves the room. So then it's just Tamika and LaTocha. Tamika fills her in about the time her and her mom met and what that happened, and then LaTocha says that we all need to be held accountable, and then she starts to cry a little bit and says that she wants to get that sisterhood back. Say what you will about LaTocha, she really does love her sister. Has she made mistakes? Absolutely, but you can see the love that both of them had. At the end of the scene, they have this beautiful hug, and as they're holding on to each other, they're just crying. But it's sad watching that because we know the current situation and we know that it didn't last very long. But as far as the episode, I guess you could say they're good now. Then on another day, Tamika, LaTocha, Lelee, Taj, Tiny, and Coko, basically everyone except Kandi, meet up to a dance audition of dancers that are going to be picked to be on the show. So it's a lot of dancers. It's a pretty big group, and they have to narrow it down, and they choose the ones that they wanted. I think it was like 6. And Taj, I love her. She really is the heart of the party. She gets up and dances with them, and it's just she has such a cool vibe. On the next scene, SWV meets up Lelee, Taj, and Coko. They're at a restaurant. They have a great chemistry. I know I said this before, but you can see that they truly are friends. They talk about Lelee's book a little bit, but then they talk about the drama. So a few days before, Taj and Tamika got into a little argument because Taj told her that they want to finish the show with the song Weak, but Xscape wants to finish it with Understanding. Taj says, wait a minute, our song Weak has millions of streams. And Tamika claps back and says, well, Tiny and Kandi are the ones filling the seats up because of their following. So Taj is telling the group about this at this little thing that they're going. And Coko, y'all know Coko don't play. She's like, well, she's the one that's irrelevant because Taj really does feel like what Tamika said sounded like she thinks that they're irrelevant and that they're less than them. And Lelee says, well, you know what? You should have told her that Tiny and Kandi's behinds are for her to kiss, not for us. So they're not happy about this. Then we get a home scene of Tiny with her oldest daughter. They talk about the show that they just had. And they talk about LaTocha because she's been a little bit unpredictable these days. And then up next is a scene of Lelee, and she talks a little bit about her kids and being a single mom and some of the things that she's gone through. She's gone through a lot. Like, just from the few things that she's shared, it looks like she has a big story to tell. But Lelee's talking with one of her friends because there's yet another little disagreement, and that's wardrobe. Because Xscape likes to wear more like risky clothing. They show much more skin, and SWV is not like that. They're not really into that. So we'll see what happens with that. But then, guys, Kandi and Coko meet up with some guy who works for Xscape, and they're going over the set list. Who's going to be singing what songs, and when are they going to be singing it during the show? And Coko is not feeling it at all. She's sort of complaining about the entire list, but the biggest disagreement, again, is which song should be the last one, Weak or Understanding. Now, y'all know Kandi, she was saying, well, we don't agree that it should be Weak. And Coko says, well, we do. So they're not agreeing, and none of them are going to back down. Now, here's my thing with this. I've heard songs, like 2 groups or 2 people, they do like a mashup thing. So there could definitely be a way that they could sing Understanding and Weak and mix it together to make it one song, like a cool mashup. Yeah, that's what it is. So I don't know why they didn't think of that, but they're not agreeing on that, like I said. So then we see Kandi and Tiny are on the car going to a meeting that both groups are going to be having. Tiny is bringing up that SWV is not too excited about the wardrobe, and they're going to be talking more about the wardrobe in this meeting with the designer. And, Tiny throws a little shade and says, well, you know what? They want to dress like they did back in the 90s. We want to dress as the rest of 2023. On the other car, it's Koko and Taj, and also Koko's son is there. And it made me so happy that he decided that he's going back to school. That's awesome. Koko then tells Taj about the little meetup she had with Kandi. Kandi's upset and Koko's upset. Kandi is telling Tiny that Koko was being stubborn and says, well, she asks Tiny, what will happen if we don't agree? And Tiny says, well, then there will just be no show then. So they all arrive with the stylist / designer. I will say all of the clothes that he had in that place was like for women from the club. So SWV is not too thrilled. They all sort of share what they personally want. They go around the groups. And when it's LaTocha's turn, Tamika throws a little shade and calls her Diana Ross. Because a while ago, I think it was the Soul Train Music Awards, y'all remember LaTocha wore a green dress that was like completely different from everyone else? But then they begin to get measurements and stuff like that. And eventually they start to talk about what song they should end with. So Taj is activated, y'all. Like, she's saying that Weak is a stronger song. They have more streams. So here comes Tamika saying, y'all ain't got the same amount of followers as Kandi and Tiny. Now, here's the thing, y'all. You guys might think that's true. That Tiny and Kandi have the more... Well, not that y'all think. We know that it's true. They have more followers. But to me, it just sounded a little mean. It sounded like a mean girl, like I have more followers, you know what I mean? And Lelee lets loose and says that she's not going to be here allowing anyone to be downgrading them like that because of followers or pianos in the dressing room or because they each have their own dressing room. Like, it's not nice. They're making them feel like they're super inferior to them. And like, if I can see that from the screen, I can't imagine like how they feel being right there. And you know what? Tamika's pretty good at hitting back because she wouldn't stop. Like, she kept it going. And Koko gets in and says that this is so annoying that at this point, they might as well just have their own separate lists. And Tamika says that she's sounding like a child. And I thought, well, isn't saying that someone has more followers and whatever, isn't that acting like a child? But it didn't end well. But if you guys think this was the most dramatic part of the episode, oh, you guys. So the last scene of the episode, like it was 5 minutes before it was about to end, Xscape gets into a little meeting. All 4 members are there. And there's yet another problem. You know, there's always problems with the group. But this time, they want to talk something serious about promoters. Tamika found out that LaTocha's husband, Rockie, has been doing some dirty business and has been getting a kickback from particular promoters, and she has receipts. The receipts are showing text messages. I totally believe her because I don't think she would make something up like this. She shows the text messages showing that Rockie's getting a kickback of certain shows. And not only that, you guys, the messages are showing that LaTocha knew all about it, or at least according to Rocky. LaTocha says that it's not true. The girls are telling LaTocha that it's definitely true. They wouldn't make something like this up, and that they need to know how every single penny is spent in the group. So she's kind of freaking out, like trying not to freak out too much, but she keeps saying that it's not true. She gets her phone and immediately calls her husband Rocky, and then to be continued, we get on the screen. So it's going to be so interesting to find out more about this because we didn't know about this. We knew about her and Tamika and $30,000, but we didn't know about the promoters and Rocky doing this little kickback. Now, you guys, next week is going to be the season finale. This show is finally going to wrap up, and it looks like there's going to be a pretty ugly fight between Tamika and LaTocha at the ending. So it's really sad that the little makeup that they did at the beginning of the episode didn't even last to the end of the episode, but it really left me in shock. Like I couldn't believe it that this was going to happen. Not that I couldn't believe that he did it, knowing what we know now, but just that it happened in this episode. But anyway, you guys, let me know 2 things. 1, who do you think should have ended the concert, Weak or Understanding? And what do y'all think about this last scene? Do y'all believe Rocky was doing this kickback from the promoters? Let me know all your comments of the episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all next time, and y'all have a great one. Bye.